Hey guys, how's everything going? This is JSer. In the previous video, we've covered how we handle error in Relay, right? We used the error boundary, and also we can pass in the retry function to our error boundary, and then have this nice reusable component that handle network errors. But at the last part, we didn't cover how we can expose the errors from the GraphQL, right? We just detect the network errors. What if the errors happens in the GraphQL, and we need to detect the error and handle the different UI based on that error messages. So that's what we are going to do today. Yeah, let's begin. So our first thing we need to do is to expose the error. As we have explained in the previous video, we need to actually, for this GraphQL user, we not only return the GraphQL user, but also use a union type to hold the GraphQL, right? That's in the user query here. So here, when we are query for a user, current schema says, okay, the type it will be GraphQL, so we can safely just fetch the user like that. But why there's an error here? Cannot resign. Let's just remove it. It's no big problem. So now we need to, as a GraphQL, if something error happens, we just put the types in the GraphQL. So ideally, it should be something like GraphQL user some error, right? So yeah, let's in this GraphQL here, let's create a new type called union type to hold this GraphQL user and error. Actually, I have already had the cheat sheet here, so I'm just used here. This one. Let's create some error type. It's our customized error type, which is like here, which would be the same as the new GraphQL type. New type. The name would be some error. Okay, and then fields. We'll just expose the message. The type should be it should be not empty and non-null string. And resolve, it would be the error component, and then return the error string. So that's it. This is some error type, and then we create a new type, const GraphQL user or some error. By creating this type, actually we need to use this new method called GraphQL union type. Let's connect them together, like here. Allow me to copy and paste. And then, yeah, user or error. We GraphQL union type, it should be in here, I guess. Yeah, it's in it. So then, we need to put this below the user. And then, this union type accepts a name, same as others, and then it has a types array to hold all the possible array, this GraphQL or some error, right? And then we need to when we resolve to some data, we need to tell the GraphQL which type it is. So here we just do some trick, like if it has a message, then it's error. If not, it's a GraphQL. In a real app, you should do it more cool, like have every object has a I don't know, the type field with a string, and you can detect on that. So this is just a trick. Don't do this. Okay, don't do this. This is just for a demo. Okay, great. So now let's export this error, and then we in our query here, in a query, we don't have this type of GraphQL anymore. We have this GraphQL user or some error, right? Let's import it from the nodes. So that's it. And when we are resolved, we return this fetch user. And yeah, so here we just not reject, but return something with a message, right? So, oh yeah, and then here I just say, how should we say? We just resolve message, or this is not a cool. We could just call the user query here and try catch. Okay, it might be better, I guess. So try. We fetch the user, await, and then return this user. If this nothing wrong, the resolver in the GraphQL or some error will say, okay, there's no message in it, so it will return this GraphQL user type. If there's an error, we just return this message. We just return this error. Actually, it's okay because it has a message. So this is it. And in this node, actually, we fetch user. Let's see the fetch user. Okay, and then here we just reject new error. Hey, no such user. Okay, and then this is our GraphQL modification. And then let's go to our graphical to see what's the problem, what it would be like. Okay, you can see now that when I create again, it says cannot create ID on type user or error now, because when we get something, it's a union. So for error, it only has message. You don't have the ID status stuff. So in this case, we need to use the inline fragment. So if it is on user, and then we get this message, right? The type. And then if the type is on some error, then we just get the message. Oh, typo here. Let's reload it so that we can get the syntax highlight. Great. So user is a union. So if it is user, we get this piece of structure, and if it is error, we get the message. So this is it. So and then, yeah, we can see that we just get errors. Something wrong here. Actually, we should not get errors in data. We should get the a message, I guess. But why we got errors? It's not handled. Message no such user. Okay. This is something weird. Let's try review our code. Try. Okay, and then let's log something. Got error. And return the error. Let's crest it. Yeah, we got error. No such user. Okay. Ooh. Got error. This is an error. Maybe we cannot use this error directly. When we resolve and then pass into user or some error, this one actually has a message, so it returns the Okay. Okay, I know now. I shouldn't use return error. Maybe the GraphQL handle this error separately. So let's just explicitly make it a plain object, but with this message relayed on. Great. Now let's create it again. Still, it says cannot return now for non-now field. The error doesn't have a message. Okay, let's create it. Yeah, it has a message. Can I return now for non-notable field? Some error message. Let's go to the type here. Oh, did I forgot to build the schema? I don't need to do that, right? Maybe. Let me build yarn update schema. Okay. I don't think that's related. Yeah, it's not related. Something interesting. Okay, log it, resolve type. Let's see what it is. Let's see the log. It says resolve type. We got an object. You got a message, so it's object. And then actually we go to some error, right? So we got error, resolve. Okay, let's log resolve some error, return. Resolve some error. This is the error. Ah, shit! It's string. Ah, my god. Okay, I have a stupid mistake. Okay, now you can see that when we have this user under it, it may have this message, and if it is okay, it will return this user, right? Great. So now the GraphQL is updated, and it was returned us the fine-tuned message. So in our app, we need to handle it. So the first thing is, this is not working anymore, right? We need to update it. So it's on user. Then we have ID and add the fragment. If it is on some error, then we just get the message. So user now, yeah, the user now, it might be message and might be user, right? Great. So okay, here we get the data, and we fetch the data to user. We can say the user. An error boundary. Here is the to-do user. We get the users here. Okay, if we got the error like this, in a query here, we put everything in our user, but we just realized that we cannot easily tell that user if it is an error in it or not, right? If we're in the same field of user, we would just check if the message is there. So this is a problem. I think we need to modify our GraphQL to change it to like user is on here, and then error, right? Error is just under the data. So let's try to change it. So user query here. When we get a user, we return GraphQL user or some error. We don't use the union type anymore. We create a type called the user, GraphQL user. Okay, with possible some error. Yeah, this is just some for demo name for demo. Let's change our type. Okay, so it's some error. Some error is okay. Like this. It's new union type. Yeah, and then if it is error, what we return, we would return. We don't use this union type anymore. We just use this object type, and then this is a possible error. And then type, no type. We got the fields actually. We got the fields, and both of these fields are optional, so it's a nullable. Let's copy the code. The first one is user. So type, we return what? Return GraphQL user, right? type is GraphQL user resolve. Wait a minute, how can I resolve it? Anyway, I'll just continue. If it is an error, we return some error. Type it some error and no other things. There's no resolve type. Yeah, the data will be from from the GraphQL query here. Yeah, with error and ID is this, so resolve, we get the user, and then we return the user. And if not, we return the error. Error has some message, and yeah, that's it. And so in our code here, we resolve, but we just return the user, right? And the GraphQL will map this user to GraphQL user, and then it's we need to change it nullable. Okay, we just to change it now. Okay, it's nullable, so default it's nullable, I guess. Okay, this is error, and there's no resolve type. So this is our new type now. Something wrong. Okay, we need to export this one. Great, let's try our code again. So here we query on the user. Let's reload it. And this one we just query on the error, but they might be nullable. So let's query it. So user is null. Yeah, error is there. If it's not user, so if it's not error, so it's fetch user. Let's make it working. I started to understand why it is called resolve. It's kind of like a step by step. It will resolve the tune the type. Okay, user. Why we have this so many users here field? Okay, data. We have this user, and then we have this user again. So obviously we have some problem. So query user, return the user, and then this user is this fetch user. Okay, this seems no problem here, but nodes, GraphQL with some user. This we got this GraphQL user. Why we have duplicate user? This is something weird. Let's see the schema. I haven't updated the schema. That shouldn't be true. Let's update it. Why? Okay, this is our type. Possible with some error. User, an error, some error. It's not complicated, but for user here, it's simply a node, and it has this ID, and it doesn't have this duplicate stuff. So why? User query. This is user. I think the problem is in this resolve still, I believe. This is user, an ID status. Let's return this ID status. Resolve. Okay, let's log it. Console log resolve GraphQL user. Let's see what we have. Resolve GraphQL user ID. This is user. Great, no problem. And when we go to GraphQL user, we resolve the ID, blah blah blah. The user is user, right? And then it has ID. So why would we have, shit, we have this actually because we actually query with this user. We have the double user here. That's not cool. Query, query this user, and we got this user query. Get the user query. We actually resolve to the user. So this is our okay. Let's just move it to data and user, and then we actually have this data. Data is user, so we return user. This is not. This seems not bad anymore. Just return user. Okay, let's see. User on the field. Of course, we have some data. Great now. So it's user and data or user error. Wow, looks good. Fetch user. Fetch user. So we don't make an error. We're just we're making an error and see. Yeah, it's data now and error. So back in our app here, it's now something different. We query the user, but it actually has a data field and an error field, right? Yeah, and the data is the user. User is there. Add to do. This should be not user, should be the to do. No, data. This is add to do. But for error boundary, if this error happened, we don't need to query the data, render all this stuff anymore. We could just do anything we want here, right? Let's just try, say, if data, user, and error, there's something error in it, let's just render an error message, right? So p data user dot error dot message. Oh, but it's might be still this is error message. Still loading. Loading is okay. The suspense actually will help us, so we can safely trigger get the data. If it is error, we get the error message, and if not error, we get the user, right? So the user here is .data and .data. Let's see. Yeah, we can see that some error happened. What? Some error happened here is actually go to. Oh, we forgot to update the relay. Relay. It says type GraphQL user with possible error has no field data. It has user. Oh, we forgot to update the schema. And then we got update the relay. It says GraphQL must start with module name app when in the query got app query instead. Queries GraphQL with the name app. Okay, we just rename it to add the bigger app. Oh great, so relay now is updated. Let's reload it. A lot of error. Module build failed, no such directory. Oh. Huh? What? No such big tree. Oh yeah, there is actually. TODO paginations. Oh, every time I met this error. Okay, now it's working, loading, and then no such user, okay? So now this error message actually is from the server. Cool, right? If it's not from the server and it's just an uncaught error, it will be handled by the error boundary. So now we have this ability to handle the crafted errors from the GraphQL by ourselves. Pretty nice. So yeah, so that's all for this one. Let's at last we just try to update our error message again. Hey. Okay, let's just add some data timestamp. And in our app, we also add a retry button. Let's say button retry. We can do the same. Here, I just copy the code. On click. No clear now. Great. So, no such error, okay? Remember the last one is 793. We try it. It should be a different error. Great. So that's all for this one. Hope it helps. Yeah. See you next time. Bye bye.